Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about, you guessed it, NIO, when analysts think it's going to be profitable, and also just going to go over quickly when I kind of think they're going to be profitable, because I think they left out one key thing here. Also, BYD's earnings, or not earnings, but deliveries have come out just like 50 minutes ago, so I'm going to be talking about that because that's, like I said, do not sleep on BYD. They're kind of a sleeper, no one really talks about them, but they're doing huge things, and I'm going to be getting into that. So let's just get into it. So according to 21 industry analysts covering NIO, the consensus is that a break even is near, which we all kind of expected. They anticipate the company to incur a final loss in 2022 before generating positive profits in 2023. So they think pretty much Q1. I think it's going to be sooner than that, but I'll get to that here in a little bit. So working back, I'm just going to be, going through what this article is saying. So working backwards from analyst estimates, it turns out that they expect the company to grow 93% year over year, which, is pretty much on par with what NIO wants to do, a little over 100, but yeah, so they're not wrong there. They did say one thing we would like to bring into light with NIO is its relatively high level of debt. Generally, the rule of thumb is debt shouldn't exceed 40% of your equity, which in NIO's case is 52%. So the company has a large cash balance. We've talked about this before, billions of dollars, and they're going to raise 2 billion more. So they have a lot of cash on hand, which is good. And the company actually has 3 times more cash on hand than its outstanding debt, which is good. Be nice kind of if they paid a little of that off, but I know they're wanting to use a lot of that for expansion and a lot of other things. So analysts estimate that NIO will break profits in about 2 years. However, if the company sustains current momentum, it may surpass expectations and start generating returns sooner, which I think, as long as chip issues and supply issues don't hinder them, by the end of next year, they should be at the capacity of able to do 600,000 vehicles. So, by the end of 2023, they'll be cranking out 600,000 vehicles. So they should deliver 600,000 vehicles. So that, their growth is expected to be huge. I mean, even this article said 93%, and they're, kind of hitting for around 100 or so. So as you saw in the little pop-ups I did while I'm talking about it, they kind of expected to be like Q1 of 2023. I've talked about this before, and I'm kind of expecting Q2 of next year of 2022 at the latest, unless supply issues can always screw things up, and there's definitely wouldn't surprise me if there's going to be supply issues. Also, a huge thing, absolutely massive thing that they didn't even talk about in this article, and this was a Yahoo Finance article, as you probably saw in a pop-up in the beginning when I started talking about it. They didn't even talk about regulatory credits. If they cash those in Q4 of this year, they could be profitable if they wanted to be. So we've talked about it with Aaron and Mike, from NIO Trending, and Mike from Stock Dudes. We've talked about it all together before. We all think they could be profitable Q4 of this year. If they cashed in those regulatory credits, they could be profitable 100%. So that's a huge thing that this article didn't even talk about. And, Tesla uses the credits for profitability. They get a crap ton of money to help them be profitable with the regulatory credits. And NIO can do the same thing. They just need to cash them in, and they could be profitable. So I think Q4, they could be profitable if they cash in the credits. If they don't cash in the credits, then I think around Q2, as long as no shortages happen and they keep up this around 100%, 120% growth year over year. So now let's get into BYD's sales or deliveries this quarter, because they're insane. Like I always talk about, BYD is just, a sleeper. No one talks about them. No one, I don't know, cares about them for whatever reason, even though, big boy, Warren Buffett's in this. He has a bigger holding in BYD than he does in GM. Let that sink in for a second. He's already made billions off this stock. An article came out a week or two ago about that. So BYD's new EV sales in September rose 258% year over year to 71,099 units. So among new energy passenger vehicles, BYD sold 36,306 pure electric vehicles in September, which is up 197% from 12,212 units in the same month last year. BYD growing, everyone gets excited when NIO is growing at 100 or 120%, which is fantastic. I think so myself. But then everyone overlooks BYD, and they're out here doing 200% year over year. So the 71,099 units that they sold, that includes 70,022 passenger cars and 1,077 commercial vehicles. I've talked about it briefly before, but they do make buses and stuff like that, commercial vehicles. So kind of the other half of the passenger cars that are left, because they did 36,000 out of the 70,000 were pure electric. It sold 33,716 plug-in hybrids, which their hybrids are growing at a ridiculous rate. I've talked about it before. They're actually discontinuing one of their internal combustion engine models that they've been selling 16 years in October to make room production for the production line for the DMI series, which is their hybrid models. So that is up 428% from a year earlier, which, as I always say, is insane. It's just ridiculous. I've also talked about it before, going hybrid. I know a lot of people are like, why would you buy a hybrid when there's, pure electric? And I think hybrids is a good kind of stepping stone, especially plug-in hybrids. Kind of get used to how you feel about plugging in your car and everything. So I think it's a good stepping stone from a traditional combustion engine to a EV, and go from there. So I think it's awesome. 428% from a year earlier is just ridiculous. From January to September, BYD's new energy vehicle sales were 337,579 units, up 204% from a year ago. Like I said, NIO's growing at a ridiculous rate of like 100, 120%. BYD's growing at 200%. So don't be sleeping. Don't be sleeping on BYD, that's for sure. So 330,798 new energy passenger vehicles and 6,781 were commercial vehicles. So then this is why they're discontinuing some of their fuel models. So the company sold 9,015 fuel-powered vehicles in September, which is down 60%. 60%. So obviously everyone's, getting into the hybrids and the EVs, looking at their numbers. And like I said, they're discontinuing one of their fuel models, and I'm sure they'll discontinue more. And that one's been on sale for 16 years, and that thing used to sell hundreds of thousands. It was ridiculous. And, the sales have gone down like crazy. So they're discontinuing them and making more room in the production line for the DMI series, the hybrid models, which is, smart. If one of your vehicles ain't selling very much, stop selling it, or stop producing it, and make room for the models that you can't even keep up with. They were having orders go all the way into next year. That's how backed up they are with the DMI series. So they need to make room and start cranking these suckers out even more than they are. So that's all I got for you in this video. Like I said, don't be sleeping on BYD. They're doing crazy things. And for whatever reason, it's not really talked about very much. So, I have a holding in BYD. And I think they're going to do awesome things. I mean, if you can even look at their chart compared to NIO. And again, anytime I say, it's a weird world. I can say NIO is doing just one tiny little thing better than Tesla, which, it's true. It's facts. But all of a sudden now that means I hate Tesla. I don't understand it. It's just, people are weird these days. And again, I'm not bashing NIO, just BYD is out here killing it. So like I said, we can look at their chart. I guess we could do that real quick, and I'll show you the difference in the stocks. Which doesn't, like I said before, doesn't really represent the company. But it just shows you that BYD is just getting killed, or NIO is just getting killed lately, just always beat down. So NIO, the last 6 months, negative 10%. BYD last 6 months, up 33%. I've talked about it before. NIO's really manipulated, really beat down all the time. So, that's kind of why it's down 10%. So again, not bashing NIO. Obviously love NIO, but BYD stock is doing a lot better than NIO. And again, like I said, that's not NIO's fault. But yeah, looking at since I looked up the chart, here's this article I was talking about. Warren Buffett makes $2 billion gain on BYD stock this year. This year alone, he's made $2 billion on it. So yeah, BYD's out here doing great things. They're also, their stock is doing great things when all other kind of EVs are kind of sucking this year. Let's be honest. BYD for the year is up 10%, which, you know, isn't very much. But when you look at even Tesla for the year, it's up 4%. And then obviously don't even look at NIO or XPeng or any of those. They're down, you know, 30%, 16% for the year. Just not really NIO's or EV's year. But that's all I got for you. If you like the video, hit the like button, share, notification bell, all that good stuff. Share it on social media. It really does help me out. Also leave a comment. Love all your guys' comments as always. I love, you know, hearing what you got to say. Let me know if you're in BYD. Let me know your opinions on BYD, or if you plan on buying BYD. It's been doing pretty good lately. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.